Liam, there he is. We'll call this meeting to order. If we could all stand for the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag,
the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
and we'll just remain standing for a moment of silence for all fallen firefighters and first responders, not only in the United States, but across the world. Thank you. Please be seated.
Just let you appreciate that.
Yeah. Alex flexing over there. It's great. So first point of order, item agenda 4 is approval of the minutes from May 8th and May 22nd. Those are not prepared right now, so we're gonna push that to our June meeting to approve those. Is there any feedback on that from my fellow commissioners?
Excellent.
Seems a good idea.
Very
Okay,
good.
so I think we
Make a
need,
motion to approve.
Seconded
To postpone?
to postpone
the
approval
next
of
meeting.
minutes to June meeting.
This is true.
the July
Excuse me,
meeting.
to July. Thank you.
Seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, okay. New business, I think we need to postpone that till the later in the meeting. Okay. The one item we had was the civilian departmental awards. Did we want to introduce
I
this?
wanted to add the HB 5002 bill and our response to that, which is on the governor's desk. The chair had sent a draft letter. I revised it slightly and we have it. I don't have one. I didn't save one for you, Alex.
So this is,
We'll read it.
this is a letter to the governor in response to the legislation that is been passed through both houses that is sitting on his desk, which we want to comment on as a fire commission, that the dangers it could possibly pose to our first responders, to our community from a safety standpoint. Would that be a good way to?
Yes,
Obsoleted?
yes. It also will eliminate the moratorium we had under 830G.
So this letter, do you want to read it, or do you want it to,
Okay.
want me to read it?
Yeah.
Sorry. Okay, so this letter, so Alex, let me know if you can hear me. Give me a thumbs up.
I can, please go ahead.
Okay, great. So it's addressed from us to, and it goes, Dear Governor Lamont, on June 12th, 2025, the Fairfield Fire Commission passed the following letter as a resolution of the commission with the vote of A or nay. Whereas the Connecticut General Assembly has passed HB 5002 for the laudable goal of trying to ameliorate the current housing shortage. Whereas HB 5002 will allow developers to effectively sidestep local zoning and existing infrastructure limitations. If allowed to proceed, it will jeopardize public safety in terms of firefighting, adequacy of water supply for daily use, and adequacy of sewer systems. Whereas HB 5002 does not provide funding for any of the infrastructure improvements that these larger buildings and greater density require, it will jeopardize public safety. For example, it would allow the building of 5- and 6-story buildings, but not provide funding for, first bullet point, the 100-foot ladder truck needed for that height. Fairfield only has one in spite of the proliferation of these buildings. Bullet point number 2, the significant increase in the number of firefighters to respond to fire incidents, which is triggered by national firefighting standards associated with density of an area and types of construction present. There's a website that Commissioner Burke has provided for access to that data. And bullet point number 3, increased number of firefighters needed to meet the standards which are triggered by increased head density. Increase in the size and probability number of firehouses. Increased demand for water at these fire locations will require larger pipes, and there is no provision to require the water company to change these quickly in order to provide funding. The concurrent expansion of sewer pipes is not funded. The impact of traffic on fire response route, nor the increased size of the trucks due to the increased density and height of building. Fairfield has already encountered challenges with the turning radius of firefighter apparatus. Any version of an affordable housing bill should permit towns to provide reasonable design standards by neighborhood so that the building footprint, height, and facade blend with or are complementary to the existing neighborhood. We hope a future version of this bill will address not only these concerns, but the others raised by public officials and the general public. Sincerely, Fairfield, Connecticut Fire Commission. We read that for any open discussion to this letter from the Fire Commission.
I guess the only questions I would have, Michael, if I can just address fellow commissioners that were there is, obviously this was drafted, somebody put some thought into this, just kind of where the data came from. Did we have input from the department or from the union in terms of their thoughts or the town? And if not, that's fine. I was just curious.
This was the chair's letter that I edited.
Oh,
Did everyone get it or?
I don't think I received it, no.
I don't know what it-
Anyone else get it? It was Dorothea's letter that I kind
How far back? What's the date on it?
of, this week,
Oh, I
was-
did not read it. Sorry.
she was going to fly out.
Yeah, it was
Okay.
crunch.
to wherever she
So
was
is this something
I
that
saw it. I saw the
that
email.
we wanna pass out to the be electronically to the commission, then we can comment it?
I don't think we have time. I think,
Okay.
I think he's either gonna sign or veto this bill, in the
Yeah.
next several days.
I'm looking at it here. She did send it out. It's in the body of an email she sent down the 11th. So it was yesterday. So it was in the body. That's why if you're looking for an attachment, no, it didn't see it, but I see the bullets that are here. It was just more the data behind it and making sure this, if the departments or the town or the unions taking a look at it, see if they're supportive of the statements that are in there. And it's more just a matter of curiosity. We're an independent body. I just didn't know if we'd coordinate or anybody had spoken.
No, we love feedback from any of the people present here.
I think it
so-
all makes sense. I'm reading it now and and I'll double check by reading the, the attachment. But I assume she wants us to go forward with this. That's what her hope is. Am I right?
That was her hope.
Okay,
I would concur with that.
I would too.
Sorry.
Her citing of standards such as NFPA, may not have that reference specifically.
Right, I
But
got.
national consensus standards are supporting of all of this.
Okay,
So, and I got from the chief, from Chief Berry, it's NFPA 17-10. 17-10. That's the standard. I found a number of things, none of which were as succinct as the union had given us earlier.
Yep.
That-
I think.
I don't have a counter argument, Michael, at all by any chance. It was literally just an open question to make sure that had been said. The chief just said that it matches the standard. That was my question. So I don't have a counter argument or I'm not against it. I was just curious. Thank you for answering.
No, that's great, Commissioner. We appreciate that. We'll make sure we measure twice and cut once here.
Good point.
may I have a question?
Sure, of course.
I was wondering if this came about, because I haven't spoken to Dorothea, but I'm wondering if any of this came about as a result of the decision to put the curbing on Villa Avenue.
I don't think so.
Has nothing to do with it.
No. No,
Okay.
that's
That's another discussion. No
What
need
is-
for, I have my opinion about it, and I've spoken to several people about that situation. But that's another discussion, then, right? That's,
I don't think that's our
Okay.
discussion.
okay.
that's
It can be,
Okay.
if we want it to be.
Can it?
Sure it can,
Okay.
sure it can,
so
but not at this time.
no, but that's an example of
Well, it indicates here, increase the size of
Who did that curbing?
oh, you see, you want to talk about it. Well, I thought we weren't gonna talk about it, so let's not. We can talk, it's a big, huge mistake, and everyone I know is furious about it, and I would love to hear what you but another time, we have to keep going.
We covered
right?
that a
We
meeting or
did.
two ago, but
Yes, we
I
did.
since I wouldn't mind doing that separately. if
Okay, I
need be.
would
We'll
love to.
we'll bring it up as under old business. Is that
You're right,
fair?
it would be old
Yeah.
business.
Okay, so but you do mention turn ratios and stuff here, so that's an example, I think.
I
of
was
it.
wondering if that's what it means.
Is that correct? We had it turn,
As far as what?
we had it.
Turn radiuses and stuff.
So in those structures, typically they'll submit a plan and the fire marshal will review it. I do it with him. We have our turning radius specs for our trucks. There has to be minimums that are allowed for us to set up and things like that. So when you set up a ladder truck, it's 18-foot jack to jack. So we need to have that at a minimum plus positioning time. So they review that and place them to the hydrants and where the typically trucks would go. So we try to make sure all that's done ahead of time. So when those plans come in, there is a review process with the fire marshal's office with that.
Okay, so maybe we should take the turn radius part.
Well, it's important because it
No, I
needs
think
to
it's
be
good.
there.
No, I leave it in, I would.
Yeah.
definitely leave it out.
So can I make a motion as the?
We second, as printed.
All right, so I make a motion that we accept this letter and submit it to government law access with one further review between Liam and any commissioner that wants to join him, just for grammatical, just making sure like it's cleaned up English wise, not to change the structure of the letter. We accept the structure of the letter, we just make sure that two commissioners look at it before we submit it to the fire commission, or to the Governor Lamont.
I would second that.
Do we have, anybody wants to volunteer for that small committee?
Yeah.
Alex, you're getting kind of, can you go through the letter with Commissioner Burke? And just make sure it's every I's dotted, every T's crossed, and
Yeah, I just want to make sure it's done on the grammar, just make sure it's factually correct,
Yeah.
we'll run through it.
yes.
Yeah, if you're good with that, I am.
Okay.
All right. So,
Well, second. the
second that,
motion.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Great. That's good work. Thanks for being expeditious there. That's great. All right, reports. Reports from me as a chair, I would, there's no formal one. I would just say taking my own life for May, which we call Maycember, and then June, getting through this time of year as a family in Fairfield is wonderful and it's brilliant and it's so much joy to it, but there's so much work to it. And as I was thinking about like what I had to talk about tonight, I want to then send my utmost thanks and kudos to the Fairfield Fire Department, because we've made it through 2 major universities graduations, right, without an incident. I mean, clam jam, we got our own, but we made it through it. We've had 4 high school graduations, 5 high school graduations in town. So, and that's all with you all behind the scenes, making sure it's safe and secure, and our brethren with the police department, but you all, like, no major incidents, no major injuries, like that it's all wonderful time for joy for families, but it could always lead to some bad instances. And so I just wanted to say formally from the commission, it's okay to say thank you for doing a great job.
Missed the marathon.
I will ditto.
I missed the marathon. And the half K or whatever it is, that 5K, yeah, so I run the half K.
The fire at the Chinese restaurant.
Yeah.
We'll get to those incidents. Let's still go to the positive.
But no, I will ditto.
That we're posting that, they're not here yet, so we're gonna,
Okay.
yeah, so. So that's what I just wanted to say, that this is May and June are very, very busy times of year, and we're not done with June yet, but we're done with a lot of the major events, so thank you.
I would ditto all that Commissioner Finneran said.
I think the schools did a wonderful job last night putting that together. That was
Phenomenal.
pretty smooth.
Phenomenal. Phenomenal. Chief?
Okay, so today, a few minutes before this meeting started, we came back from the Board of Selectmen. We had to go before them for a contract approval for a boat lease for the 2025 season with an option to store over the winter and to lease in 2026 if the build time of our replacement fireboat is extended more than what we hope is we hope we get one May of 2026. So that was just approved. Chief Case will talk about our current personnel situation. But also we had more talks with Bridgeport's command staff, and we're hoping to hold the academy in August or September. They just a local academy, that is, which we did mention, but we're getting closer to that. And there's just they just have some internal things which they're not sure if they want to start, if they're going to be able to start with us early August or a few weeks later. The CFA starts the 25th of August, but we think we're going to wait no matter what, and we're going to put our entry-level candidates in this local Academy. As I've mentioned in the past, the First Due Records Management System had a May 1st start, and it seems to be working pretty well. There's still continued training and report making that's going on every day. Today we had a fire marshal's office training. After a month of them using it, they had a lot of questions, and Jen's one of the spearheaders of the fire marshal work that goes on there. And they had some questions that they had, and we looked at it, we resolved some of their questions, and it's moving ahead. We're looking to work closely with the training division down here to bring them up to speed with their module. In the realm of emergency management, we've just processed 3 cert activation requests. One's for the fireworks coming up July 5th. Sunset 5K later in a week later in July, and then in September, the Connecticut Demis Region 1 Mass Casualty Incidents Drill, which CERT is involved in for their training purposes, but also they play victims for fire and police departments and EMS departments to handle. So, and that is the end of my part. And I think Chief Case was going to mention about the rest of the personnel issue.
Yeah, we're happy to report that the 3 laterals that we were accepting, all those offers, they're in the background process. They're being
Great.
you know, between their backgrounds, their medical backgrounds, once they're completed with that, we'll be able to put them through a small training module here to bring them to the Fairfield Way. Hope to have them online in July.
Nice.
That's great.
That's the first,
Made my night.
it was a long process, a lot of work on everybody's part, especially the commission to keep pushing that through. We greatly appreciate the support. And we're gonna see some of the fruits of the labors now.
Great.
That's all I had on that. The rest were, as the chief said, we're looking at for the local academy.
Any questions for Alex, anything?
No, sir, thank you.
So I'll go next. We had 663 incidents for the month with 1,048 responses. The calls of 2 calls of importance. One was a structure fire at the Sweet Basil Restaurant. We had fire through the roof upon arrival. Quick knockdown by the units on there. A little bit of damage inside, but they did a tremendous job in being as careful as they could to not only put the fire up, but to make sure that he can get back in business as quick as possible. So hats off to them for that. The other one was we assisted the town of Stratford with a dive incident. They had a car go into the water, occupied car. They don't have a dive team, so they special called our dive team over there along with the police department, and we were able to, unfortunately, a little late, but get the person out of the water. So that's it. The only other thing I had was at the beginning of the month, myself and mechanic Gillis went to the Pierce factory to do the final inspection on our new engine 4, which we'll probably be doing by the end of the month, I would think. So we had a little bit of a hit list out there. Some things that we needed changed on it that we need to, when you do that, it's a full look at the truck, find everything wrong with it. And then they fixed that. It's coming out to Patterson, New York, and then from there it'll be here. So.
When do you think it'll be here?
It'll be in Patterson. There's on the 17th, and then probably a few days after that, after we do some mounting of some toolage and some stuff like that shortly thereafter that. So my guess is maybe the first week of July, it should be here. A little bit of work for us to do it, to mounting tools, equipment, hose and things of that nature, install radios and such. So probably another month of that, and then it'll be in service after that.
Terrific.
It's a beautiful, they build a very, very nice machine, so.
Wonderful. Any questions?
Where's it gonna go?
Station 4 will be engine 4. We had to purpose build a truck for that station because they're getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And unfortunately, the stations aren't getting any bigger. So they'll be happy though.
Commissioner Burke calls first ride.
Sure, we can
You are
arrange
all
that.
invited anytime you want to ride.
Wanna play with the sun?
You can.
All right, anybody from CERT on the line? Maybe from Southport Volunteer Fire Department. And to, be a first in my time on the commission, anybody from Stratfield Fire Department, Volunteer Fire Department. We give that an extra minute because yet to experience comments from that group. We're gonna give it some time. Why not? We're gonna have a fire commission meeting there. All right, so we're good with CERT, Southport Volunteer Fire, Stratfield Volunteer Fire, Local 1426.
Yeah, just something briefly, Commissioner Brennan wanted me to do an update, we just talked about it offline. We had a meeting, second step grievance with the town regarding some pay issues that we discussed, so we found some anomalies in the payroll. A number of us met yesterday with HR, with payroll, with the town, with Chief Case. And currently, we're going through about over 2,000 lines of code. By 10 cells, just trying to isolate and point out where these inaccuracies exist. We're finding new ones as we're doing this audit. So I just want to say that right now we're working collaboratively. And I don't know, we're hoping to get a second meeting shortly, maybe 2 weeks, to try to clean some of this up. So they're not huge pay inaccuracies. We're talking a couple of dollars here or there, but those dollars add up over hours. So I just want to let you know.
And it messes up the matrix for everyone going forward. So when I was here for the interviews, I had heard a couple of firefighters talking about it. So, and it just sounds like it's a great collaboration that from the get-go that the town, everyone wants to do it. So we stand here aside, but if there's anything we can do to write a letter or help it out, I think we just focus on it. There's errors in systems, right? And but we don't want to let this get too far out of
Yeah,
reach.
I think what we learned is that we just need better collaboration between departments in town, right? Just making sure that these errors don't happen again, and we can make sure that we isolate them moving forward. And I think that hopefully the human resource director is open to putting some of those protections in place.
Well, the fire commission stands with you to be safeguard for that, anything we can do to help, because you're all doing the job, but you deserve the paycheck while you're doing the
And
job.
once we stop the bleeding, work on the retro.
Any comments from other commissioners on that?
Yeah.
Yes, Jenny?
Has this happened before?
So we've had, not to this extent, not to this extent.
When you say before, but not to this extent,
So-
how long ago?
So we had a slight issue with the introduction of retro pay on the last contract.
Oh, I
Only
see.
because,
Mhm,
only because it was very complex,
mhm.
because the contract was allowed to expire, and there was a time period before the new one was settled, right? 'Cause
I
that went to
recall
arbitration,
that
yeah.
discussion, I think.
Yeah, this is a little bit more, the Munis system that the town uses is very complex, and our payroll is very complex. So, it's difficult. It's difficult, but I just want to compliment everyone in finance, HR, Chief Case, firefighters that are stepping up, that are not accountants, they're not forensic accountants, right? But they're going through 2,000 lines of code, just trying to decipher everything, and it's really a lot of work, so.
May I just say, it sounds insurmountable.
When you look at it all on one page, yeah, it is.
And David, are you involved?
I am, and we're at a point, I think we've certainly reached and probably exceeded an inflection point recently, and we are now throwing a lot of resource at it. It's not just this bargaining. This is not something that hasn't been discussed at the boards for some time. I think one of the problems is, I would just say in my own tenure, which is that we've never actually had everything all bargaining units and all departments.
Not there yet.
And simply said, okay, well, on this date, we have a baseline. and we know that we have people that are
I'll take a break
properly
on service.
trained or capable in numerous roles of ensuring that everything goes in moving forward the right way. So what we're working on now is saying the clean baseline is the number one piece. We'll go back on some of the restaurants that we go in, we adjust 3 or 4 people in one particular department or bargaining unit. So that's the collective town, and then calculates an entire set of retros and spends a bunch of time trying to do all of that, and then finds that in that process, there were 3 or 4 other people who had an issue or whatever the number may be somewhere else, and then they just compounded, and then others kind of compounded. So, we are now, we've now pulled, I think it's a group of around 6 or 7 people that are meeting on an almost daily basis on this and other issues. I mean, big on implementation, some other things, but the number one, I would say, there's 2 major pieces. One is this, and one's the accruals for vacation time and other things at the end of the year. Our goal is to roll that over clean, which that needs a good baseline, and we get to a good baseline with this unit and others. And then obviously from there, we'll calculate out retros and whatnot. It's not, in some instances, it's not necessarily a major number, but, the number one rule is, I don't care if it's 1 penny, you don't want
Right.
people to pay. and
You
get
have to
right.
be
So
confident. I'm looking
It's
to,
very,
you understand where the word insurmountable, it sounded.
Yeah.
Like it's, but it sounds like, you're right, every penny and everyone, you have to be assured that all of these folks are getting the right paycheck. Clearly, we're trying to do that, so I guess I should say good luck and thank you for doing it.
but line by
What else can
line,
I say? I mean,
we'll
it sounds,
line by line, the goal is to get there and to do it.
thank
in
you
your
for the
time,
time you
so.
put in.
Thank you for your support.
You're welcome.
Any other comments from commissioners on the payroll discrepancies that are being looked at and dealt with on a collaborative basis? Move on, okay, all right, old business. We'll get to the bill thing, and it's just open the floor for any other old business.
Commissioner, I have an update from Lieutenant Smith.
Okay,
They're still waiting for another member to come in and staff the engine that they're on, so they're still in Stratfield. I would suggest that we could delay the award for the next commission meeting. We actually will have 1 or 2 more members that were receiving the same award at that time,
great, is that,
if you're agreeable
is
to.
that, is that, Commissioner Plus, is that fine that we delay the award to next month? Okay, great. Old business, any other old business before we start with the bill, because that was one that we kind of talked about at length, so I'm assuming we're. Any old business? All right, so, Commissioner Ginny, please take the floor.
Anyone I've spoken to, because that's my neighborhood, and I'm there all the time, and anyone who drives by said, why did the, I'm just now giving you logical comments. And I'd like to hear from deputy chiefs and the chief what they thought, because I recall our discussion, and I was not comfortable in thinking you gentlemen thought, you said, I'm paraphrasing, we work around it. And our trucks can get around it. And my thought was, gee, I've already seen where people hit the curb and no one knows it was said in conversation, and I'm paraphrasing, but, well, do you think it was done? I think it was done to slow traffic down. Not possible. If it was, that's a mistake. I'm there all the time. Traffic is backed up there constantly anyway, coming to the stop sign. I clearly think, this is a personal opinion, but from discussion with many people, that if anything, this is not helping our fire department get to a fire earlier. That's the gist of the comments. Why would they put these, and then someone said, well, the rhetoric of I said, that's not my problem, who did it. I mean, I can't call a Bill and say, why did you do that, Bill? This is a discussion about something that's taken place in town, and I welcome anyone here in this room telling me that it's been approved by you people. I remember you gentlemen saying we work around it. That's
So what had happened, once we heard that this phenomena was installed. I asked DC Barry, since he's the chief of operations, to investigate, find out what the situation was. We all went by after we heard of this and then we asked questions. So you want to take it from there?
So the town has, because of some speed issues, traffic issues and things like that, taken an approach with engineering to do some traffic calming measures. And the study was done by engineering and they developed that situation down there. There was a meeting on it. Chief Case attended that meeting and he was able to make some adjustments before things got more permanent and made it so that at least we had some maneuverability in there. It's all part of slowing speed down. You'll see there's the rotary that they did up in Reading Road.
Yes.
This is an extension of that, and there's more to come. We attended a meeting with engineering and the police department, and they had some ideas. We went through different things and we brought to them, our concerns with what they were trying to do, made some adjustments, and we're gonna try there's some temporary things they're gonna try now in different areas of town rather than go permanent right away to see that, make sure that things, okay, this works, this doesn't work. It's doing the effect that we want, but the whole point behind it is the whole Safe Streets program to try to make our streets a little bit safer for the kids, for the people that use them, for the people on bicycles, just to slow people down a little bit. So that's the premise behind it, so.
I assumed that, that was the premise behind it. So I hear you saying that we did give our input before that final,
Yeah, absolutely.
is that correct to say?
No.
Thank you.
So the fire department was not part of the planning process for the Villa Avenue traffic calming installation. We were brought into the process to speak to it once the hard outlines were installed. I was able to attend the meeting and express the fire department's concerns as far as our ability to navigate through that area, what the effective traffic was going to be, and how it was impassable as soon as one vehicle stopped, because two vehicles cannot pass in that same space at the same time. The result of that got us in a smaller, more intimate meeting with engineering to go over the concerns that we had. So we were able to express to the engineer of the project, the fire department concerns. There was a lot of frustration there because they wish they knew that before the project was
Complete. It's
completed or brought
completed.
through. They agreed to some changes in the project that would have reduced the amount of esplanade barriers that were there. So they did reduce them. They shortened another one because we had no access to take a right from Linwood to get onto Villa Avenue. And now we have a seat at that committee for future designs that they're looking to incorporate throughout town.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, so they're planning more on Mill Plain Road. They're planning more on Kings Drive and Kings Lane. So we were able to sit and discuss with the engineers and have them understand the fire department's operational needs there. To the point where I invited the engineer to please come with us in the fire truck and experience firsthand what the turning radius looks like, what the stopping distance looks like, what trying to maneuver around vehicles or anything during normal driving, not to mention emergency response.
May I ask, was the engineering department amenable to that suggestion?
Completely.
Wonderful. That's great news. So I feel that it's a mistake in the wrong direction. However, it sounds to me like we're trying to accommodate our town and make it better. So I compliment you that you spoke up and that you said this is critical. I mean, myself and several others were discussing it.
They
That
did
how
have-
the turning radius coming out of Linwood, I mean, things like that to us was logical, just logical. We're just nothing, we're citizens. You guys are it. I'm nothing, I'm just a person driving the car and I could figure that out. And my husband said it, and we all said it. So I thank you for being part of it, and I'm glad to hear the engineering department is amenable to you people being very much a part of it.
Yes, they
The
want.
town safety.
They want to get it right For all sides.
Good.
People on bicycles have expressed concern, people walking, jogging, we're all trying to share the same space.
Right,
And when you're in a vehicle, you're not as vulnerable as somebody on foot.
surely.
Yeah, we had the tragedy on Reading Road, and that was one of the things that spearheaded the projects that are in place right now.
Oh, yes, I know.
It's a sensitive issue. We want to do the right thing, but we also have to make sure that the public safety is not compromised.
Thank you.
It's a good collaborative team now.
Good, so it is. That's good. Good luck.
Thank you, and we.
And I will say to you that if you need a spokesperson, say, well, we have several commissioners that feel intensely about this because they live right there and they're on that road all the time, I would be more than happy to speak on behalf of the emotional side of it. I should say the safety side of it. But there clearly is emotion of many, many people I know that are driving that. And they're backed up in traffic and they don't see it where, if anything, a bicycle is more dangerous, not less dangerous.
The road's about 14 feet wide, curb to Esplanade right now.
I'm sure you know the
Pretty
detail.
tight.
It's very tight.
Yeah.
And so I can't say that I saw that project as helping for safety reasons. And I would be happy to be proven wrong.
The place to express it is the engineering department.
Okay,
That's who receives the complaints. That's where they base their project, the scope of the project that they're looking to work on. So, I mean, I would
so
say.
if anything, you're saying, Jenny, as a commissioner, feel free to voice your opinion.
100%.
Very good. Will do.
There was one thing I missed in my report.
Sure.
When you want me to go over, it, just let me know.
Any other items for old business before we? Okay, we're gonna go back to the deputy chief's report.
The train incident, I missed the train incident, it was on the other piece of paper. I'm not sure if you heard it, well, we responded to 2600 Post Road for reported wire down, which was in the train right away. Engine 4 got there and saw that it was one of the catenaries had dropped. So in an effort to stop the trains, we weren't able to stop them quick enough. Another train came through, pulled the wires down, which then trapped another train. So we had 1,100 people trapped on trains in a 800 to 1,000 foot area. It took a lot of resources from the town, from our division, set up it was a all come basically that we had to figure everything out, and they were trapped on there for quite some time because the one thing about rail is it's metal, and when there's a power line on metal, you can't quite get on there and touch it. So it took a lot of response from MTA to come down. And one of the things that we've done since then, we've got a collaboration going with MTA Fire Chief, and we're working on building a better system to attack something like that. We do training with them on the regular. This was an anomaly because of the way it happened. So we're working to come up, we put some protocols in place to make it a little bit better. But everybody did a tremendous job in every part of the town. Emergency management was there. We had, there happened to be MTA's emergency manager on one of the trains. It was like, but it was quite a complex incident. It was one incident with 3 geographical locations. And Chief Iannotti was the incident commander. He did a phenomenal job managing all 3 locations, putting people in different places to manage each geographical thing, and then resources coming in with the help of everything that was all the resources that came to him. David was there as well, and we had to call back people, and it was a lot of moving parts. And I don't think we got out of there until close to 11 o'clock at night. It happened at 5 and 4:30 in the afternoon. So
There were no trains for.
well, there was 3. They were just right there, and no power.
Yeah.
And the restoration, MTA has to restore that,
Yeah.
because before you can get on the tracks, they have to do what's called a bond and ground. So they have to have a Class A electrician come out and make that connection before it's safe for people to go up on the tracks. No air conditioning, high heat conditions, a lot of problems and fortunately we had stockpiles of water. We were able to bring water and it was a tremendous Herculean effort by all those that were involved. I was on the other piece of paper and I'm sorry I missed it.
Were the people on those 3 trains the whole time to 11 o'clock at night?
1,100.
Just one of the trains so we cleared the first train probably 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, I think, maybe. Does that sound right?
It was dark.
Yeah,
It just turned, so probably more like 8:39-ish.
and once that was clear, the other train, they were able to figure out that it was just a communication wire. So they were able to pull that clear, that left under its own power, and then the third train was the one that we had, because you have to build these boxes to get into them, electrical safety boxes, so. But, and then the following day, they ended up having a fire at, Grand Central, so they had their hands full in a couple days. But, it was a good,
I didn't know
it was a good, exercise for us. We did, I think we pulled all the stuff out.
Last Thursday.
that.
Yeah,
There's,
Yeah.
right.
yeah,
It was all over
yeah.
the Fairfield and Moms of Fairfield.
The boots on the ground did
Yeah.
a phenomenal
Thank
job.
you, thank you.
That's
Thank
great.
you Fairfield Fire Department.
You bet. Once again, come to the rescue.
Any other old business? Any public comment from any of our participants?
It's no public.
Okay, making sure.
Good call.
I need to read that?
You could.
Okay. To hear, consider, and act on any other business which shall properly come before this meeting.
Hearing that.
there
Hearing
any-
none. I was gonna say, hearing none, I'd like to make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, thank you, everybody.
Oh,
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.